Man, oh man, oh man. Little breaking news right before we get set to tape this podcast. I had all kinds of things we were going to talk about on the HelliePod with MJD. And then my Washington football team benches its starting quarterback, and we have one angry former NFL rushing champ in the house.
I don't even need to be all that. This football analyst. That's all I want to be.
No, you don't. You're mad.
Well, I'm very upset because we don't see this with Daniel Jones, who has been last year led the league in turnovers. This year has averaged 2 turnovers a game, and we're going to put blame on everyone else around him. But the same thing is going down in Washington, the exact same thing. And I get it. You know, the football team feels like, oh, we have a chance to win this division. But let's be honest, like, you're not ready to win this division.
Hold that thought. We call this a tease. This is a tease from MJD. It is the HelliePod with Viore, starting right now. All right, so clearly Ron Rivera, Scott Turner, that coaching staff in Washington feels like they have a chance to win the NFC East. They have a defense that's good enough. They feel like they have enough pieces on offense, and the quarterback is the problem. So they benched Dwayne Haskins after just 4 games. He's done, right? Like there's no coming back from this.
You don't come back from this. So you either have to trade him or you release him at the end of the year. That's the decision you make in week 4. And the problem that we have here is that let's say you do win the division. Now you're picking in the 20s. Who are you going to get that's going to help your team, impact your team in that way? Like, you have to remember, this is a building process. They brought you in, Ron Rivera, to build this organization up to be a consistent winner for years to come.
Is there any way they could have possibly seen enough in 4 games to know that Dwayne is not the guy?
Is Kyle Allen a franchise quarterback?
Of course not.
So then you have a potential franchise guy in Dwayne Haskins, but you bench him, you ruin that relationship for a guy that can help you win now. So now, not only do you have a guy that won't be your franchise guy, it means you have to draft another quarterback, okay? That means you have to put pieces around that quarterback. You have to do a whole building process all over again. So you know what that adds? You know what that adds to your tenure? You say you have a 5-year deal. You better hope you see the full 5. 1, and then you're not going to be able to build that offense up for another 2 or 3 more years.
Well, let me ask you this, MJD. And again, I'm playing devil's advocate because I agree with you. It is far too soon to make a move like this.
Man.
It doesn't make any sense to me at all. And listen, I've watched every single one of their games and gone back and watched it on Game Pass. Dwayne's missed a lot of throws. Yep. He stares down his receivers. Yep. He has not played well. He has been one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL this year. And I think one of the things that has not helped him is Justin Herbert in L.A., is Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, other young quarterbacks who didn't have an offseason and a new system are playing well.
I'm glad you said that because Justin Herbert has Keenan Allen.
Yes.
He has Hunter Henry. He had 2 running backs that were toting that rock. And on top of that, they didn't ask him to throw the ball a ton. Yes, he threw it in his last game, but the Chargers are a run-first team. Let me go to Cincinnati, to Joe Burrow. A.J. Green, who's not playing the best right now, but you still have A.J. Green, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon, who we'll have on this podcast later on.
By the way, Gio can catch a few passes out of the backfield too.
They put weapons around them. Like, you have to have weapons around your quarterback in order to succeed. I always give people this example. People always ask, why is Peyton Manning considered one of the best quarterbacks in the game? Look at what the Indianapolis Colts put around him. Marvin Harrison, first-round pick. Reggie Wayne, first-round pick. Anthony Gonzalez was a first-round pick. Brandon Stokely wasn't a first-round pick, but he was a good compliment to what they were doing. Dallas Clark, I want to say, was a first-round pick. They put first-round picks around him to help him succeed.
They invested in the offense.
Yeah. Let's be honest. Like, you're the 3rd round, and again, Terry McLaurin is a phenomenal player, but that's a 3rd-round pick that you have in there. That's the one guy. All these other dudes, like, and no disrespect to them, they're not scaring anyone. If I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm not saying I have to go stop a running back that catches the passes out of the backfield. I'm like, okay, we'll give him that. We're going to double team Terry McLaurin. He's still making plays. Look at Kyler Murray, for example. Look at Kyler Murray. You go and make a trade for who? D-Hop.
D-Hop, of course, but when Kyler got there, they had an old Larry Fitzgerald and not much else.
And they drafted 14 receivers in that draft. Remember, they got Isabella, the big receiver. Christian Kirk. They had the big receiver from Iowa State that's in a tight end now that's not there anymore. He's on someone else's practice squad. Then you go and make a trade for Kenyon Drake. Then you go make a trade for DeAndre Hopkins. Like, you have to put pieces around. And there's a reason why the Arizona Cardinals are winning. They have talent on their roster.
Well, they've lost 2 in a row, but I understand.
But they're 2-2.
So, but here's my question. As a head coach, you haven't seen enough in your starting quarterback. You didn't draft that quarterback, and you see an opportunity to win games this year. You were brought there to win games. It's obviously not a long play, right? Is it this? You feel like this is very short-sighted?
This is very short-sighted. As a head coach, you can't be that way. And I'll tell you this much. I'll sit away from the mic. I'm sorry, because I'm trying to calm down. But I read Pete Carroll's coaching book. And Pete Carroll's book talks about reloading, not rebuilding. Right. That's how you build an organization. When Pete Carroll got there, you know who the quarterback was?
Trent Dilfer?
No, Matt Hasselbeck. Matt Hasselbeck was their quarterback there. I want to say, if you can look it up, but I want to say it was Matt Hasselbeck.
And who did they bring in?
They were free agency. They went and got Matt Flynn, and they drafted Russell Wilson.
And they invested actually a decent amount of money at the time in Matt Flynn.
Exactly.
And they pulled the trigger right from the jump.
But they saw talent. This dude is more talented than the guy we've had. They added weapons. They added first-round talents like Mike Williams. They went and traded for Marshawn Lynch. They put pieces around their guy to be successful. Now, like right now, they're not doing that, and that it's a concern. It's like Russell Wilson can only run around like that and make plays downfield, but then you go get DK Metcalf. Tyler Lockett has been phenomenal for him for years.
But I just want to remind you your point, though. The Seahawks have not surrounded Russell Wilson with any first-round receivers. None of those guys drafted.
No, but they had first-round running backs. They went and drafted Dwayne. They went and drafted a left tackle that was first round, not traded your first-round tackle away to the San Francisco 49ers.
Oh, they added some pieces, but I'm just saying, like,
they drafted their offensive line at one point. Had like 3 or 4 first-rounders on there.
Remember their offensive line also at one point was just god-awful.
I know. But then they invested into it, right, to help their quarterback. You have to invest. You have to invest in the – so this is what I want to tell people, because I get it. This is why I get so upset when quarterbacks get paid a ton of money. I get upset because they can't do it by themselves. They can't. You have to have guys that can get open. Look at the Dallas Cowboys, for example. It's not by chance that Dak Prescott – now, granted, they're not winning, but it's not by chance that Dak Prescott is throwing the ball over the yard right now. They have 3 top-notch receivers on that roster. You have Ezekiel Elliott in the backfield. Their issue is right now their right tackle's hurt, so they got an undrafted guy playing right tackle.
Collins.
Right? Their center just retired, so they have a new guy. Like, they have new pieces on the offensive line.
And their center actually just got hurt as well.
Yeah, your left tackle's been in and out of the season. So those are and they're still scoring 30, 40 points a game, but they've invested in their quarterback. They invested, like, that's, if you want to really evaluate a guy, you have to put pieces around him to let him know. And if he doesn't perform, if the Haskins can't perform with pieces around him, then I know he's not my guy. But
this is what Haskins has gone through in his career, right? He's drafted 15th overall by a head coach who's on the hot seat. He
didn't even want him, though.
You're right. No, 100%.
He didn't even want him. So
and
that
everybody
who's
listening to this in D.C. knows that Haskins went to Bullis High School with Dan Snyder's son. Dan was enamored with Dwayne. What? He's the one who wanted him. Jay didn't want him.
He threw 50 touchdowns in college. He has the ability to do that.
No, he does. Absolutely. He played 1 full season in college. And those are just the facts. He's played for 3 head coaches in 13 games. Ron Rivera gave him a huge vote of confidence to start the season. Then basically 2 games in, 3 games in, he started hedging his bet. And you could tell it's really not what you always say. It's what you do. Right? So they started kind of dialing it back. They said, yes, there is an end point in sight if things don't improve. And remember this, there's a comfort level with Kyle Allen for the coaching staff. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just explaining why this has happened. So
I got to say this. What is the comfort level? He got you fired in Carolina. Like, so what is the comfort level? It wasn't Cam. Cam was hurt.
They feel like Kyle Allen can run that offense better. Scott Turner has.
How many games? Can you tell me how many games he won last year as a quarterback? I just want to know because
he won. I believe he went 6-7 because he started the 1 game at the end of 2018. He started off 4-0. I called one of his first start in Arizona. But he actually played really
last
well.
year. He went like this.
Yes. No, he dropped off a cliff.
Which means he'll do it again. And think about in Carolina, they had DJ Moore, Curtis Samuel, Greg Olsen. They had players.
Yeah. No,
So what are you going to do with one guy? You had 3 or 4 dudes. You had Christian McCaffrey you were throwing the ball to all the time. What are you going to do now from 4 playmakers on the field to now having just one? So this is my question. Yep. I have to ask this because I know it's like a co-host thing. What happens when the Kyle Allen project doesn't work?
Well, so you know too that backup quarterback now is Alex Smith.
That's what I'm trying to figure. So
Dwayne's done.
So you're about to put Alex Smith in harm's way? I don't like as good as he is and as good as he was. I'm still concerned for Alex Smith because that offensive line. Watching that Baltimore Ravens game. Guys were flying around Dwayne Haskins. I mean, he was getting back on his back step, and guys were hitting him in the face. Like it just was what it was. And you're going to start to see ghosts with that, anyways. I don't care who you are. Everyone sees ghosts when you get on your back step and guys are in your face.
Brandon Sheriff is hurt. The right side of that offensive line for Washington has been decent, but the left side is just a disaster.
How do we? Again, my question is, and I posed this on Twitter: how do we evaluate a quarterback if 1, we don't put weapons around him, and 2, he doesn't have time to go through his progression? Remember this. We're all creatures of habit. If the first game I'm coming out and I'm getting hit on my 5th step, I am going to stare down a receiver. Terry, get open. I don't got time to look at anyone else. If I only trust one guy can get open, guess what? That's who's going to get the ball. That's why he's on my fantasy team.
So if you are coaching that football team, and you feel like there's somebody else who can run the offense better and be more effective, and you feel like there are other guys in that locker room who are giving you a chance to win, do you not make that move?
You don't. I mean, I'm going to tell you why. Because when we look at this thing behind us, right, I feel like the Washington football team, they're just looking at this triangle right here. They just see like, all right, we're in it. We're right here. But as a head coach, and I learned this as being a head coach for a little kids youth football team, and a president of a youth football team, I have to see the bigger picture. I can't be nearsighted. I can't just look at what's going on now. I have to be able to step back and be like, what is the plan? We have to have a plan and understand that this plan may take a year or 2, and we may have guys that we can win. But I ask you this again, like I said in the beginning of with this topic, if we do make the playoffs, we get knocked out in the first round, second round, maybe third, whatever, maybe win the championship game. Who do you get at 30 from picks? What, 22 to 32?
Well, if you make the playoffs, then maybe you're comfortable with the quarterback. Maybe you've made a change and you think if you make the playoffs, you're not necessarily drafting.
Is Kyle Allen an undrafted quarterback, your franchise guy? Because we thought Case Keenum was a guy too for a minute. Remember that?
Well, kind of.
We thought he was.
Jay liked him. I don't think anybody else thought he was. No, I don't think Kyle Allen's the guy. I don't.
So now we have to start this process all over again, which then sets you back years. The building process, and this is one thing. And again, being in Jacksonville, I was part of 2 or 3 different rebuilds. And I always anytime you get a new GM, new head coach, we got to do our vision. But I promise you, I want everyone to go out and I don't forget what Pete Carroll's book is called. But I want our listeners to go out and read Pete Carroll's book because he talks about as a head coach, you have to he failed in New England, even though he didn't really fail. He failed, right? And Bill Belichick came in.
He got fired,
right? And he went to SC, and then he built SC up. And the thing about SC was he was like, we're not coming in, we're not kicking guys out. We didn't need bodies. So these guys are going to come in, we're going to build, they're ours. Like I told you, if me and you, if I'm dating a girl and she has 4 kids and I marry her, I inherit those 4 kids as if they're mine. I can't treat them any differently. Even though me and her may have kids, I can't treat those 4 differently. And that's the same thing as a coach. When you hire onto a team, you can't be like, well, I like this dude and that dude, but I don't want him. No. It's a whole package. We get everybody. So it's your job to build and what's the word I'm looking for? Help these players grow to be better players. And and like you said early on, Ron Rivera said, we have a plan for Haskins. I knew it wasn't week 4. I knew that wasn't the plan.
I don't understand. In my mind here, you at least give him to the bye week. You give him half.
You give him a season.
You give him fair enough.
He needs us. What other quarterback got 13 games to figure out if he's good? You name me one.
Well, even Mitchell Trubisky got 3 seasons to.
And he's been god awful.
He's been bad.
Who else? Give me another one. Anyone else? Do you think
that
they cut bait? What was the quarterback that got drafted with Peyton Manning?
Ryan Leaf.
He probably got I don't even know how many seasons. He got more than 13 games for sure.
I don't know if he got more than 13 games.
I guarantee he got more than 13 games.
I mean, he's Schuler's one way to go way back with the Redskins they were the Redskins then. I don't know that he got more than 13 games.
Who?
Heath Schuler. You remember him? He's
I don't know who that is. But back then, that was Joe Gibbs was getting guys up from around there. I heard he cut a second round pick. So
he was like Shanahan in Denver. Who was that he cut? Third round pick, Maurice Claret.
Yeah,
remember that?
Got him up from around there.
Yeah. All right, we could go round and round about this.
All I'm saying is this, and this is for the because I have a buddy that's a big Washington football team fan, and this is for anyone that's listening. If you have a quarterback, and I guess the best example is the Houston Texans.
Mm-hmm.
You traded away Deshaun Watson's number one threat. What has happened? What happened? Tell me what happened this week with Bill O'Brien.
Well, he's gone. He's fired.
You know why? Because they're like, you told us that if we trade him away, we'll be better.
4 games.
There's no way. That doesn't happen. You have to acquire talent to help your quarterback out. Deshaun Watson has regressed because he doesn't have DeAndre Hopkins.
100%.
So how can I evaluate and really put a true test to Dwayne Haskins when he doesn't have weapons around him? Tell me.
I think it's fair, but I would say this, and I don't think it's a fair comp because it's Tom Brady and it's Russell Wilson. But I'm telling you, Russell Wilson, I don't know that Russell Wilson ever had a first-round receiver. Tom Brady had Randy Moss for a while, but there were a bunch of, Tom, Dick, and Joes that were running around there catching footballs in New England. They had the number one defense, and no. They had a number one. They had Deion Branch was a top receiver in New England before he then went to Seattle to help Russell Wilson out. They brought guys in like Wes Welker and Julian Edelman.
But they went and brought Wes Welker was a dominant player in Miami.
No, they were very good players. I'm saying they didn't draft receivers highly. They didn't draft running backs
they drafted
highly.
In the first round my year? Chad Jackson out of Florida. They drafted first round talent, guys that didn't pan out. Mm-hmm. Remember, they had missed on receivers like 4 or 5 years in a row, but they were drafting them first and second round trying to help Tom. They were just missing. They were putting capital into that receiving core to help them.
They tried, and they brought Randy Moss in. But here's my
Dante Stallworth, first round guy, brought him in. He balled in 2007. It was
Dante
him.
Stallworth was a first round guy.
Yeah, I guarantee he was. You want to put some? I know we can. You want to put some clothes on it?
Yeah, because Dante
Stallworth was
the
first
Tennessee
round
guy.
to the New Orleans Saints.
Was he?
Yeah.
All right, I'll double check that while we're talking. Hey, you talked about Billy O. Yeah. First coach fired. A lot of coaches on the hot seat right now, I think. I would be shocked if Adam Gase is not the next one to go. Dan Quinn, I feel like, has a little extra time. Matt Patricia probably going to be gone as well.
Oh, can we talk about Matt Patricia real
Please
quick?
do, yeah.
Because this is my problem. Two things. It's a little Billy O and there's a little Matt Patricia in there. When has anyone else, Bill O'Brien's probably the best coach to leave New England and have success, but no other coach has done that. And people are talking about Josh McDaniels getting another head coaching job. What he did in Denver was like the worst thing. Like, people go to jail for what he did. Like, he literally went in there and destroyed an organization, and they had to bring all these people back to try to help rebuild it. Like, I would never.
He was a very immature head coach at the time.
So you get a second chance?
Well, a lot of guys get second chances.
Adam Gase got one, and let's see what he's doing. What is he doing?
Bill Belichick got a second chance. What's he doing?
But they were good in Cleveland. That was the last time Cleveland was good.
He got fired.
Yeah.
Got a second chance.
But that was the last time Cleveland was good was when Bill Belichick was there.
Pete Carroll got a couple second chances. Pete
Carroll had to go to college and revamp
second chance.
himself.
Still.
I mean, you can go to college and get a job. That's not hard. If Josh McDaniels went to college and won in college, then I'd be like, okay, you can come back and win the league.
You don't think Josh McDaniels should be a head coach in the league?
I don't. I think his track record showed me enough. Like, he can't evaluate talent.
Well, bring somebody else in to evaluate talent. You have a GM for that.
Again, but you're going to have to do it with your head coach. Like, his talent evaluation wasn't the best. And then, to be honest with you, he went from there and went to the St. Louis Rams, and their offense did poo. But then he goes to New England, and all of a sudden the offense is good again. And so now my question is it him or is it the Patriots? Is it Bill Belichick? Was it Tom Brady? You could look it up and see. Like, his offense was bad in Denver. It was bad in
he was not good in Denver, and I think
he was bad with the Rams, and then he went back to New England, and all of a sudden he reinvented himself. Well, yeah, you just got to look at the track record. Like, if it's not New England, I'm not really messing with them
Well, look
dudes.
at everybody who's left New England who's become a head coach. It's Patricia,
How many games has he won? By the way, Jim Caldwell,
man, dude,
they
were building under Jim Caldwell. They were solid.
They're about to take off.
They were solid under Jim Caldwell.
And then this dude comes in and they do the complete opposite. Because guess what? He doesn't understand. All they do is play man to man. They don't do any like he's supposed to be this other thing. I was concerned. Always was concerned with Matt Patricia because Matt Patricia was like it's like when you meet like it's like you're like, hey, I want you to meet this girl I know, and I'm like, well, how is she? She has a great personality, right? That's Matt Patricia. When you talk about Matt Patricia, it's like, well, he has a degree in rocket science. What does that have to do with football?
Well, listen.
What is
he
rocket
was
science
the defensive coordinator in New England. Their defense was stout. They won a couple of Super Bowls. I think he deserved a shot. I don't know if that shot was in Detroit. He obviously hasn't done well as a head coach. Most coaches that leave New England don't do well as head coaches. Romeo Crennel, who's now the interim head coach in Houston, didn't do that well in Cleveland. He did have a good year. I think that was the last time they made the playoffs. They had a 10-win season there. Our buddy Willie McGinnis played on that team. Mike Vrabel was never a coach on the New England staff, so I don't think you can throw him under the Belichick tree.
You can't throw him in there.
Who else am I missing? Obviously, Billy O. Billy O had some success.
Charlie Weiss. We saw what he did when he left. Right? He's a Patriot guy.
He made a lot of money.
Yeah, he's. But that's what I'm saying. So why would I continue to go after this tree when it's not fruitful?
Well, I understand, and I understand too because I know Eric Bieniemy is going to be head coach. I know that he was your former position coach.
That's my dog, but he doesn't forget Eric Bieniemy. For example, I forget he'll get his opportunity. But look at Andy Reid's track record.
Great. Andy Reid's great.
The coaches that coach underneath him, they go out and they're successful, and it just happens, right? Look at Shanahan's track record. The coaches that coach underneath him, successful. Matt LaFleur, Sean McVay.
Well, there's no better coaching tree in the NFL right now than the Mike Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan coaching tree. And that's where it started. It started with Mike. We always talk about Kyle, but it started with Mike.
If it's me, Gary Kubiak is under that, who's the OC now for the Minnesota Vikings, who was a head coach in Houston when Houston was going to the playoffs every year, right? He took Baltimore. He went to Baltimore, ran the system in Baltimore. Baltimore went to the AFC Championship game. I want that. You know why? Because I've seen it successful. The one thing about New England, the thing about New England that the other coaches can't take with them is Bill Belichick. That's it. So why do I want that if I can't have Bill? I don't want no. Give me Bill, because that seems like he's the one. He's the what's the thing with Adam and Eve? Like it was the apple or something. That Bill's the apple. Okay, so if I can't get the apple, I don't want it.
The forbidden fruit.
Yeah, he's the
Bill
forbidden.
Belichick.
Yes, I don't. If I can't get that, I don't want it.
All right, I have one last question about coaching before we have to get to Joe Mixon, who is sent to join us in a minute. Had the best game of any running back in the NFL last week. Super excited to talk to Joe. Have you had a coach fired in midseason or during the season?
Jack Del Rio.
What did that do to the team in the locker room? Does it juice you up a little bit more?
It was late in the year, and yeah, it sucks because it's on you. Like we didn't perform well, and I remember because this is the first time I was ever around a coach being fired. It was the first time ever, so I didn't know how to react. It was like uncomfortable, and when I went to go talk to him, I was just kind of like, it was just awkward. I didn't know like what to say. I was like, man, like I don't even know how to do this. He was like, bro, this is just the business, and I'm like, but is it though? Right, like. We should have been winning more and more, but they fired Shaq Harris after year 3. I was there, and they brought in Gene Smith, and it was a whole different rebuild. Literally we were rebuilding with the same coach, which is bananas. And I was just like, it hurt me. And so I think when you talk about what happened with Billy O, what you talk about in the Houston Texans, they're going to come out and play with a little bit of fire under their belt. I think that they're going to simplify a lot of things. That's what we did, and we ended up rolling off some games. Mel Tucker took over, who I think should be a head coach in the pros. But we were very simple, and he simplified everything that we wanted to do, and everyone played faster. Coach is going to coach harder, right? Because you're coaching for your job. There's no security in this situation. You're gonna start to see guys play because you don't know who the next guy is coming in. Which guys always play well, but you don't know who the next GM is coming in. So you're auditioning for 32 teams again. And I believe they have – listen, Bill O'Brien got fired because of the DeAndre Hopkins trade. Very simple. He also got fired because he took on too much. He bit off more than he could chew. There was a report, I think Mike Garafolo said it from the NFL Network, that a agent said he was literally talking to Bill O'Brien for an hour on Tuesday about getting a player signed. Bro, you can't, as a head coach, you can't do that. That's too much.
I need a separation of church and state. I really do.
But you can't. And so he did that, and he understood that he was like, it was on him. And so you can't be, even though the schedule now is going to be very favorable, the first 4 weeks were going to be tough. We knew that going in.
Yeah.
I mean, you were going against the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Minnesota Vikings. So I think the Houston Texans still have a chance to win this division, which is crazy. But if they make some runs, they'll be good to go.
All right, Joe Mixon coming up here on the HelliePod in just a moment with MJD. Looking forward to this. Time for a quick timeout to tell you about a few of our sponsors. And we start with the company that has been with us from day one, Viore Clothing. It is the finest athleisure wear on the market. Invest in your happiness and look good doing it. They have everything: joggers, t-shirts, shorts, board shorts, hoodies, sweatshirts. You can wear it in yoga. You can wear it playing pickup hoops. You can wear it on the Peloton or playing pickleball, as I have been doing a lot of lately, or obviously if you go for a run too. I got a good deal for you. 20% off. Just go to VioreClothing.com/HelliePod. That's VUORI clothing.com/HelliePod. Get 20% off today. I promise you, you're not going to regret it. Greens Plus, a health food leader since 1989, known for creating the first ever blended green superfood powder and the first company to infuse green superfoods into a bar. Those bars and powders, incredibly tasty. I have them almost every single day. They're the most effective way to improve your immunity, detox your body, boost your energy, and get that nutritional insurance that your body deserves. You can get it at Whole Foods, on Amazon, or greensplus.com. 20% off if you use the promo code Hellie. Try the chocolate protein bars or that wild berry superfood powder. I put it in my smoothies all the time. It is delicious. At Vaco, the model is we invest in your career, so you are here for the duration of ours. Vaco is a premier talent and solutions firm that provides boutique-level service with global reach in the areas of consulting, consultative project resources, executive search, permanent placement, and strategic staffing. You know, if you need somebody to fill a C-suite position, Vaco has you covered. Their areas of expertise are aplenty: accounting, finance, tech, healthcare IT, operations, administration, or international managed services. Since it was founded in 2002 by my buddy Brian Waller, Vaco has grown to serve over 40 markets across the globe. They have 1,000 employees, 5,000 consultants, and $750 million in revenue. At Vaco, they do it right. Check them out. Vaco.com, VACO, for more info on how Vaco connects people to their dream jobs and helps leading companies find talent to grow their business. Have you heard of True Niagen? If you haven't, you might want to try it. I started using this product probably 3 months ago. There is a new trend in the scientific community that surrounds the health of our cells. We have something in our cells called NAD, which supports our energy and our body's ability to repair itself all the way down to the cellular level. You see, it turns out that NAD declines as we age. It also declines when we overexercise, don't sleep enough, and even when we are exposed to a virus. There is only one NAD booster that is backed by Nobel Prize-winning scientists, 10 published human studies, and regulatory approvals for safety. That is True Niagen. Additionally, True Niagen is NSF certified by Sport. Visit TrueNiagen.com to learn more. That's TruNiagen.com to learn more. And with no further ado, we welcome the NFL's leading rusher in Week 4. Joe Mixon just blew up, man. 25 carries, 151 yards, couple of touchdowns. And oh, by the way, dude can catch the rock too, MJD. I know they have Gio Bernard, but he had 6 catches and a receiving touchdown against Jacksonville.
Dan, if you watch tape, right?
Why do you say it like I don't watch tape?
Because that's disrespectful to Joe Mixon. Now, when he was coming out of Oklahoma, that was the thing. That not only could he give you 100 rushing, he could give you 100 receiving. And so, Joe, tell us a little bit about, your impact in the passing game. Are they going to try to use you a little bit more, lining up at wide receiver, running different routes?
I'm not sure. Honestly, man, I just been trying to play my role. When my number called, they have me get on the route, and when I get a check down, I just try to make them pay. You know what I'm saying? I try to make every opportunity count. I mean, I typically I don't be wanting to take away from them receivers. I mean, we got a lot of receivers in the room, and I know them boys be needing that ball, just as much as I be needing it. But at the same time, like I said, when my number call, I just try to do whatever I can, man, and put us in the best position.
Joe, let me ask you about before the game. You're in the hospital the night before, couldn't breathe well. You said the doctors just kind of loved you up and you were able to play. What happened, man? What was wrong with you?
It was like I think like a muscle in my ribs or something. I don't know exactly what part, but it was like a muscle in my rib. But I went to the hospital, was there for like 3 hours, and then they did all kinds of scans and things like that. But I guess it turned out it probably was like a muscle strain. And, like I said, I didn't know if I was going to play because it was hurting like bad. Then I came in early the next morning, probably about like 10:30, talked to the doctors and everything. And then, like I said, they was just loving up on it. And then I ended up getting right.
By loving up on it, you mean they shot some painkiller in there?
No.
What?
No. I'll never take no shot.
Okay, I got you. They just. Why do you look at me like that?
Because that happened. You got to learn from others. Tyrod got that, and he's still down right now. Joe.
Yeah, I'm good off that.
Yeah, see?
Okay,
he's
I got
smart.
you.
He's from the crib. Smart people come from Antioch, California,
Bay Area, there you
Oakley,
go.
California. Joe, last year you played the New England Patriots, and Bill Belichick comes out and says you're the best running back in the NFL today. How'd that make you feel, and then how do you continue to push yourself to be better when you get those type of accolades and recognition?
Yeah, I mean, it meant a lot coming from Bill Belichick. I thought that was definitely something great. You don't really hear him say too much about, people like that. So, it's definitely humbling, but at the same time, for me, that just tells me, what type of level I'm on. But at the same time, just got to keep working each and every day. But, just going and getting these accolades, I mean, I think it's cool, to really start to get that notability and everything like that, or notoriety, I should say. For me, I just try to keep on pushing each and every day, keep going hard, working, and just try to set the example for my teammates to, follow me and keep going hard, keep pushing.
Hey, Joe, last year you guys started 0-11, I believe, before you got that first win. Now you're 1-2-1. Obviously, the arrow's pointing up for you guys right now. That tie with the Eagles, though, was kind of strange. Were you surprised that they punted at the end of that game?
Yeah, I was definitely very surprised. I mean, I think they was just content with tying, I guess, at that point. But, I mean, hey, if that's what they wanted to do, that's on them.
If you're in the NFC East, you guys would be in first place right now.
Oh, yeah, I know. But, I mean, hey, that's what they wanted to do. So, I mean, that's on them.
Hey, your offensive line, there's been, the last few years have been banged up, maybe hasn't been as good as Cincinnati wanted them to be at times. But they had a nice day against the Jags, man. That 34-yard touchdown run around the right side was wide open. Do you feel like everything's starting to gel a little bit more in the running game?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just like MJD said, man, the formations that we're running in, we're them 2 and maybe 3 receiver formations. I think that helps a lot, especially when you got that extra tight end or fullback on the field, them boys coming in and just going downhill at them. And, that's what I want to do. I mean, I can go side to side, but, I mean, I love to get downhill, run hard, and try to set the tone, man. So I think them boys did a hell of a job, on the perimeter and in the O-line. And I think Zach, he did a great job with how he had the formations going on and, big on big, hat on the hat, and just getting after it. So I think if we can continue to go forward with that method, I think it'll make even Joe Burrow's job easier. So I think everybody else, doing a great job of buying in, but just got to keep on dialing in and getting better each and every day.
What is it like being in the second year of this system? We've seen this system, be explosive. Aaron Rodgers, what he's doing, obviously the Rams, what they've done, the 49ers, what they've done. What is it like being in year 2 and understanding the system a little bit more?
Well, the thing is, for us, I think we're a little different than the Rams. Like, we had the same kind of scheme, but I think we have our own tweaks of it. So we got different players and things like that, man. But I just think, honestly, like with the formations that we've been running, I just think we keep everybody off balance, and they have to respect the run and they have to respect the pass when you play like that. So everybody, been complimenting and feeding off of each other. The run, marry the pass and play action. So I think Joe Burrow been coming up big on them play action, especially last week and the week before that, man. So as long as we can keep building off of these great things that we're building, and get better at the things that we're lacking in, I think things would be great. But I mean, I want to be the one to set this train off and up and going. So we could do it like that and just have me lead our team, put the team on my back. I'm gonna do whatever I can, man, to put us in the best position.
What was your first impression of Joe Burrow? Obviously, the offseason, you didn't have the normal OTAs and mini camps, but I'm sure you watched him at LSU and how well he played last year. Dude has some swag. What was your first impression?
I mean, like you said, man, I think Joe Burrow is advertised as he's been. He's young, but I don't view him as him being a rookie because, I mean, the stuff that he do is nothing rookie about him. So for me, I just think that, with him being around the guys that he's around and a bunch of playmakers, man, I think it just makes his job so much easier. Especially from last game, just us keeping him off the ground, having the game plan simple. That can boost a lot of confidence in his game and just have him, keep playing with that swag, man, because, that's what the missing piece that we was missing, before was just that person to just, take the huddle and with that confidence, man. And I think he bring all of that, and I think he's a great person as well. And he helped me, with the stuff that I struggle with and, routes and things like that, route combinations and stuff. I think he does a great job with explaining as a teacher. So he just got to keep on getting better each and every week, but we got to put him in the best position for him to feel real comfortable.
Is there a funny Joe Burrow story? I mean, he almost sounds too perfect, man.
Hey, man.
Give me something.
Let Joe stay perfect, man.
No, man, he's too perfect. Like he had to have screwed something up.
No. I mean, honestly, to me, I think it's perfect, like he said. Honestly, man, he's everything you ask for in a QB. It really don't get no better than that, especially with the way he carry himself on the field. I mean, everybody always see the off the field stuff, but I mean, the on the field with what you want in your locker room and the person you want leading your huddle, that's what you want to see. And I'm glad we got him there.
Joe, you guys are in the AFC North, right? So you got Pittsburgh Steelers defense, Baltimore Ravens defense, Cleveland's defense is giving it up a little bit, and this week you're playing the Ravens. What kind of challenge is it playing in the AFC North, and then what kind of challenge are you guys facing this week?
It's a real tough challenge. We got our hands full, cut out. We got our work cut out for us this week, and we got to take the approach of not letting them dictate in the game. And I feel like this game will be determined. Whoever won the line of scrimmage. They have a very big physical defensive line group, and they have a big offensive line group. So I just think whoever can be able to take care of the football and dominate the line of scrimmage, I think they'll have whoever, the case may be. I think that's what's going to pretty much determine the game. And, for us, we just got to go in and play one play at a time. But, like I said, taking care of the football, converting on third down, and being dominant up front, and whoever set the tone, I think that's what's going to lead us in a good position.
Oh, well, we know this game is about matchups. Last week you matched up with Miles Jack, who has been playing pretty well. This week is Patrick Queen. What has Joe Burrow told you about Patrick Queen, because they were teammates last year? And then what advantages or disadvantages do you think you can have going against him?
Well, I ain't talked to Joe Burrow yet about that linebacker. We actually just had meetings upon, their defense and things like that. But from what I've seen him, be able to do is he's a young athletic linebacker. He's a willing tackler. I don't know about his motor or anything like that, of how he, comebacks from things like that. But I mean, this is a grown man league, and I'm here to do grown man things. I'm not here to play around with nobody. Like when I'm going against somebody else, I mean, I'm not here to let nobody just tee off on me or anybody on my team. So at the end of the day, I'm coming to take it to anybody that's in front of me. So that's my mindset about it. Like I said, I think the kid is good. He's definitely athletic, and he will tackle. He has the nose for the football, but I mean, it's football, so I'm ready for whatever.
I love that. This is a grown man league, and I'm here
You
to
have
do
to know how to
grown
ask the
man
right questions.
things.
You don't know how to ask the right questions.
Of course I do.
I'm here to help you.
So I'm trying to bring some levity to this interview right now. And now that Joe has a grown man contract like MJD had back in the day, what was that like just to get that done, man? Yeah, obviously, listen, I don't want to talk about another man's money, but you got paid, and now you can focus on football. Does it make things easier?
Oh, yeah, definitely made things a lot easier. Personally, I thought it would have been done, in the off season so where I could just come in and focus straight on football. I think the biggest thing was, being able to just keep your mindset focused on football, let your agent worry about the business side of it. I mean, it was kind of like a little bit of, a weight off my shoulders, well, really a big weight off my shoulders to get it done and over with to where I could just focus in on football. But, I mean, I'm blessed to be in this here position, man, and hopefully, possibly ball and get another one. So just got to keep on doing it one day at a time, man. But I love my job. I love what I do. Love playing football, and I love being here. So I'm just glad I'm locked in.
Well, I got to say this on air. Make sure you go talk to your OC, Brian Callahan, and you make sure you tell him that I told you that you need to touch the ball more. Finally, you get the touches that you deserve and you produce. Make sure that you tell Brian Callahan that MJD said, listen, give me the rock, and I'll text him later on. But, man, congratulations on a big week 4. And there's going to be a lot of great things for to come for you, so in that team. So keep going.
No, sir, I got you for sure. I'll let him know.
I'll bet you will. I got one getaway question for you, okay? In this world of fantasy football that we live in and numbers and, yards after the catch and 100-yard games and total yards from scrimmage, is there a number that you look at or numbers after a game and say, man, if I did that, I know that we did well. I know winning's the most important thing, but I'm just talking about solely for you and your job each and every game.
Yeah. I mean, personally, I really don't try to get too much into the stat line because, to be honest, stats don't really tell it all. You know what I'm saying? So if you really know football and what's really going on, you'll understand certain situations. So, for me, I'm not really too much big on numbers. I mean, that's what they want to see, which is great. You know what I'm saying? But, I never judge a man situation or whatever, the case may be. But, for me, I just try to keep going out there, 1 week, one play at a time. And, as long as I'm doing the best thing and as being the best me and executing for my play, then I'm sure, we'll have a great advantage of, being ahead of the sticks, man. So I just try to focus, each and every play and going as hard as I can and try to put on. That's it.
See, that's what MJD would say. It's the same thing. You got to watch the tape, Hellie. He's like, you got to watch the tape. It's not always about the numbers. It's about how well you play in the game. Hey, Joe, congratulations, man. What a great game last week.
AFC Player of the Week, too. Offensive Player of the Week. Congratulations.
Back-to-back 1,100-yard seasons, man. He's balling right now. 5th leading rusher in the NFL right now and climbing Joe Mixon of the Cincinnati Bengals. Thanks for joining us, bro.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
What a good dude, huh?
It's great.
How long have you known Joe Mixon?
To be honest with you, me and Joe Mixon connected right when he was coming out of high school. UCLA had called me about him. I had heard stories about him because he played in the same youth organization, coached by the same people. Went to high school, played against my high school, was a very dominant player, but we didn't really connect until the end of his senior year when he was picking either Oklahoma or UCLA. Obviously, Adrian Peterson called. He went to Oklahoma.
He made the right choice, huh?
Yeah, why not? I mean, he's a dominant player. I don't know if Oklahoma did anything better than, I think he could have went anywhere and did what he did.
I think
right?
You're right. Yeah.
But I'll say this much. Joe does a lot for the community back home, more than what I've done. And that's big. And so very happy for him to get paid, happy for his success. And I think, I told people this before. When he was coming out, he was the best player in the draft, hands down. And I'm glad that he's kind of starting to get the recognition for it.
Yeah, obviously he fell down to the draft a little bit because of the things that happened at Oklahoma. But I think he's come a long way, and he's a fun player to watch. And I'm pumped that he is back on track. I'd like to see Cincinnati win a few games. And speaking of games, it is time for us to do our weekly Pick 6 segment. I picked 6 games. We picked the winners. You did a little bit better last week. You were 3-2. I was 2-3. We had that Titans-Steelers game that was canceled, so they had to take that one off the board, or postponed rather. So you are 15-8 on the season. I am 17-6. If I have a couple more weeks like last week, you're going to be.
I think we're going to go. We're going to win this one this week. I think we're going to go 6-0. So
let's see. Not a lot of close ones expected this weekend. I'm going to start with the Bucs at the Bears. That's Thursday Night Football, so this pod's going to drop on Thursday morning.
Yeah.
And this game's tonight. What do you think about that one?
Well, I'm going to go with the Bucs. You are exactly right when you talked about Nick Foles. He's a great reliever, but starting guy, he just struggles. And so I think the Bucs kind of showed Tom Brady is back to his old form, 5 touchdowns. I feel like he's more comfortable in this offense. O.J. Howard being hurt is being done is hard to deal with. But at the end of the day, like Tom Brady, if you're going to pick core, I know Nick Foles beat him in the Super Bowl, but he doesn't have those same weapons right now. So I'm going to go with Tom Brady and the Bucs.
Yeah, Brady the last couple of weeks, 333 yards per game, 8 touchdowns and 1 pick. They're 2-0. He's actually, for the season, the 3rd highest rated quarterback by Pro Football Focus. I know you don't put a lot of stock into that, but they watch a lot of tape there, behind only Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson. He's never lost on Thursday Night Football. And Nick Foles, by the way, hasn't won a game as a starter since leaving the Eagles in 2018. He's 0-5 as a starter. I like the Bears defense. I think they're stingy, especially on the back end, by the way. Kyle Fuller, Jalen Johnson, they're allowing the lowest completion percentage of any cornerback duo in the league. You sprinkle in some Eddie Jackson, they're tough. That all being said, I think the Bucs win. Not going to be easy. 24-20 my pick. I'm assuming you're going with the Bucs as well.
Bucs with Maurice.
Okay. Philly, 1-2-1 at Pittsburgh, 3-0. And you know what this is? This is a battle of first place teams.
That's not what this is.
What is it?
This is the Battle of Pennsylvania. Leave it at that.
Okay, that's fine.
Don't say, because that's disrespectful to say first place.
Well, they're in first place. That's not disrespectful. It's a fact.
They have a tie.
That's okay. They played for a tie. And in the NFC least, you played for a tie and you're in first place. The Steelers are the only defense that have 4 players with 10-plus pressures this season. Bud Dupree, Cam Hayward, T.J. Watt, Stephon Tuitt. They are licking their chops right now. And by the way, they're well rested because they had that unexpected bye after the game with the Titans got postponed.
Well, not only that they're well rested, they're going against an Eagles front Eagles O-line that is banged up. I mean,
they've lost like 5 starters.
It's crazy, right? I think Kelsey may be the only starter that's there, but Pittsburgh's defense. At the end of the day, Pittsburgh, they win by playing great defense and taking care of the ball. It's just going to be an exciting game. I think it's going to be closer than what you have.
Really?
Yeah, because Big Ben in that offense, they're still trying to find their way. I think you give them a couple more weeks till they find their way. But that defense is just phenomenal. So I'm going to go ahead and go with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right, I'm going Steelers too, 34-21. I don't think it's going to be close. Almost a couple of touchdowns there. Raiders at Kansas City. Let me just start with this. How do the Raiders win this game?
So if the Raiders are going to win this game, defensively, you have to play press man, similar to what the Patriots did, and you have to play press everything. Cover 2, cover 3, you got to press Bell. You have to mix it up, but everything has to be pressed because teams mess up when you play the Chiefs by playing off and you allow those receivers to be fast and run all around. If you press them and you force them to get out, you throw off the timing a little bit, and that's what you saw the Patriots do in the first half. Defensively, that's what they have to do. Offensively, you gotta score points. You got to take shots on this defense.
Which is something that, again, Derek hasn't done a lot. They don't take a lot of shots.
They don't do that. So Darren Waller, he's about to go against the Honey Badger, so we're going to see. He's going to get tested. But at the end of the day, I mean, let's be honest. Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs offense, Eric Bieniemy, what he's been able to do, a lot of the trick plays, design things that they're doing, the different things they're pulling out from back in the day, Andy Reid and his input. I mean, again, I can't pick against the champs until they lose.
No, I can't either. Kansas City 38-28 in that one. Indy and Cleveland. This is one of the best games of the weekend.
This is a good game.
Both of them 3-1. Now, they have the best running game in the NFL, and they're going to be without Nick Chubb.
That's okay. They got Kareem Hunt.
Against the top-rated defense in the NFL.
They got Kareem Hunt, though. Kareem Hunt was all-pro. Let's not forget Kareem Hunt was an all-pro. To be honest, he may be better than Nick Chubb. I'm going to tell you why. He can do the same thing running the ball, but out of the backfield, Kareem Hunt is a completely different animal catching the ball. He runs routes. You see he had a one-handed catching game. I mean, he can do everything. I haven't seen Nick Chubb do that. Nick Chubb is he's more of a Derrick Henry type of back than he is a Christian McCaffrey. I think Kareem Hunt has that ability to do both, and I don't think they miss a beat with him running the ball. Now, I'll say, with all that being said, I'm going to go with the Colts in this one.
How do you say all that and then go with the Colts?
Because
of that defense?
Because I Baker Mayfield, I don't believe in. I still don't.
You're such a Baker Mayfield.
No, I'm not a hater. I'm going to tell you why. When you have to throw the ball with your receiver to throw a touchdown, that becomes a problem for me.
Hey, that was a sweet throw from Jarvis Landry.
It was probably the best throw I've seen in Cleveland.
Best throw of the game.
Yeah, no question. And then 2, the Cleveland Brown defense is just good, god awful. And so you're going against one of the best offensive line in the game. Jonathan Taylor's running well, which I thought was a great matchup for them because coming out of Wisconsin, running backs, if they don't have really good offensive line, those Wisconsin running backs struggle a little bit. Jonathan Taylor's looking good. And, that offense is going to put up points. I think Phillip Rivers and them will put up enough points to win. Their defense will hold strong.
So initially, I like the Colts on this one. And then I dug in a little bit more. And you start looking at that offense, and Mo Alley Cox leads them in receiving yards. Nyheim Hines in receptions. They're missing Michael Pittman and Paris Campbell. T.Y. Hilton has been on the side of a milk carton. He's been absolutely invisible this year. I feel like if the Browns, especially running the rock, they rolled up more than 300 yards on the Cowboys. Okay, Nick Chubb missed 3.5 quarters in that game. If the Browns can get ahead early, I don't know that this Colts offense is good enough to come back. And the defense, as good as they are, they played Jacksonville, Minnesota, the Jets, and Chicago. That defense is not as.
They haven't been tested. No,
they're not the number one defense in the NFL. They're rated there, but that's not what they are.
Whose defense would you rather have, the Browns or the Colts?
I would rather have the Colts.
Okay. Which offense would you rather have?
I'd rather have the Browns.
Is it closer? Is it the offense that much more?
No, I think the offense is that much better for Cleveland. That's why I'm picking Cleveland 24-21.
This is the one we're going to go against. I'm going to take the Colts in this situation.
We can't agree on everything. My friend. All right.
Dallas. Let's not even worry about this.
Okay. New York Giants at 0-4.
I called that game. They can't even score a touchdown.
Okay. This is the get out of jail free card for Mike McCarthy. One win, and they're going to be in first place in the NFC East because the Eagles
because of the tie.
Isn't that crazy? That's nuts. All right, we both got Dallas. I'm going 33-13. They're going to absolutely roll. Chargers at the Saints.
Oh, real quick. Can we go back to it? Are we not going to just talk about how bad Daniel Jones has been?
Daniel Jones has been bad, but that offense.
I just want to make don't give me no excuses. All right.
I mean, all they have is Evan Ingram. They don't have a receiver on that team that would be the number
one
option.
Golden Tate's a solid receiver.
No, I like Golden. For sure, I like Golden. I just don't think Golden is what he was 3-4 years ago when he was making moves in Detroit.
That's fine, but he out here making moves for them. You get him to rock. All right, here we go.
All right, so we both agree on that one. Yep. I'm going big by like 20.
Yeah.
Chargers 1-3 at New Orleans 2-2. This one actually somewhat interesting to me.
Do you think so?
But no Austin Eckler, I think, is going to make things very difficult for the Chargers. I'm so impressed with Herbert's poise, decision making in the pocket, with his arm. He had some. He'll have some moments because I think that Saints defense has some cracks, especially in the red zone. But let's be honest here. The Saints are a better football team, and they could get Michael Thomas back. He's been practicing.
Listen, if they get Michael Thomas back, it's going to be a problem. I'll say this. The Los Angeles Chargers have enough weapons around them. You hope Mike Williams is back healthy. You always pick these games off of the better defense and the better quarterback, because that's what it comes down to. Does your quarterback spread the ball around? Does he make the right decisions consistently? You're going to pick Drew Brees in that situation. I think the Chargers defense probably would have picked them, but with Melvin Ingram out right now, like they're just banged up too. And I know they went to Tampa and they played well, but then you got to go back to LA and then go to New Orleans. That is a tough deal. So it's in New Orleans, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah. I also you talk about Joey Bosa. I thought he was going to do some work against Tristan Wirfs, the right tackle for the Bucs. Man, he's been playing well.
Yeah, the Bucs have found him one. I just think, again, I'm gonna go with the Saints in that one. So
okay,
this week I'm gonna give you a 1 game buffer.
Oh, you're doing me a favor.
I'm doing you a favor.
All right. Well, the good news is I guess we're only off on 1, but I can still build my lead, my friend.
Nah, you won't.
All right, MJD, that's gonna do it. Don't do anything too crazy this weekend, man. I need you here next week.
Oh, I'm not doing anything. You know, what's going to be crazy is I got a 10 a.m. game with the Rams going to play the Washington football team, 1 p.m. Eastern. And that's really about it, man. I'm just working at the network, doing my thing.
Can you tell Sean to take it easy on my Washington?
No, that's the Sean McVay has only lost to 2 franchises, or hasn't beaten 2 franchises in the NFC. You know who they are?
Nope.
The Washington football team and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. He gets an opportunity to beat both this season. Let's see if it happens.
All right. Thanks, buddy. We'll see you next week.
No problem.